close with a quick recap, hopefully quick recap of the Indian Club swinging class. This is an introductory class. It is number 5 of the 6 classes. And we did a lot of review in the 5th class, and we went over and assigned the names to the movements, being the same names as they use in the Functional Movement System Screens course, which this course is largely based off of. They're not super creative names, but they're easy to remember. So we have been using move number 1 and move number 2, and we've practiced those from the 1st class. And again, move number 1, we use the cue C throw, so you start from home or here, and you're going to make a C and then throw. And so that's move number 1, which can be performed with 1 or 2 clubs. And so the things we really focused on here was first making sure that we keep the shoulder down here. So you don't want to raise the shoulder when you lift the club, so the shoulder stays down and you can rotate around. And the other thing is getting enough height here when you throw. There's a tendency when you get tired to be coming out here rather than making a nice arc with your arm. And then there's move number 2, which also can be formed with 1 or 2 clubs. So again, you can start here or start here, and we're going to cast and throw. And the cue we use for this makes more sense when we use 2 clubs is X, Y, and Z. And again, the thing we focused on was getting enough height here, and then the anti-shrug of the shoulder to bring it down. So then we talked about move number 3, which we've practiced before. That's the alternating move when you're doing move number 1 in one hand and move number 2 in the other hand at the same time. So the easiest place to start is in this position, where you're then going to throw at the same time. So the clubs end up facing the same direction, and we're going to come around. And then as this arm comes down, then this one rotates in that C. And so this is the A and Z and C at the same time. And so we practice kind of just moving from those 2 to make sure that we're not just kind of flopping the arms around there, but making sure that we're really getting the motion. And again, then getting height again, and making sure we get height on both sides, whether it's the throw or the coming up to Y. And so that was move number 3. Then we tried move number 4, which is a little more complicated, even though it's just using 1 move. It's move number 4 is doing move number 1 in each hand, but alternating, which can be tricky. So I honestly recommend just doing it 1 at a time first. So what happens when you do it alternating is you're going to when you get to this position here, then this other club comes up. So sometimes just slowing it down to figure out where the clubs need to be. And then once you get it, you can add a little more speed. But again, just make sure that you're not losing good form. Slow it down. Make sure that you're staying in the right plane and direction, and the clubs are coming up high enough. So that was move number 4. Then there's move number 5, which you may have guessed is doing move number 2 in each hand alternating. So we're going to, as this one comes up, then this one is going to come back down. So again, if you want to start the alternating 1 at a time, where you just do 1 and then do the other, make sure you have those done, and then you can practice 1 at a time. So that is all of all the moves, number 1 through 5. The other thing we practice is we practice the step. So that again, this comes whether you're doing move number 1 or move number 2. This comes you do the step after the cross. So if I'm doing move number 1, I'm going to come down as I cross, then I step, cross, step. And we did this last week. Cross, step. Same thing with move 2. So cross, step, did was we tried box turns, which is really it's just a pivot in each direction so you come around. And so we tried that with just one club in move number 1. So you come here and then pivot. And so what you're doing is as the club comes close to your body, you pivot. And then we tried that. You do the same thing with move number 2. So again, so when the club's close to your body, you pivot. And then we tried it with 2 clubs. Same thing holds. When it's close to your body, then you pivot. And again, you could do this with move number 3 too. It's another way to add some footwork in and make it a little more interesting when you're swinging. But again, until you get the form down for moves 1 and 2 with 1 and 2 clubs, then moving on to moves 3, 4, and 5 can wait until those movements are good and solid in your form. And the way to get there is to practice. So practice. We have one more class where we're going to I'm going to show you a progression. That is a good way to move through the movements, and then we're probably going to try a little bit of maybe lunging and squatting, and that should wrap up the series. Thanks.